Hello everyone, welcome back. This time this is the exam for the school organization and school diversity subject, so let's get started. I am the principal of the BMO school, which is situated in Cartagena. It is a bilingual school and it has around 250 students, so it is small and it has two lines. I'm a pro-technology principal. Lately I've been feeling like we're still stuck in the traditional method too much, so we want to start implementing technology. We don't have a lot of students with special needs, about around 10%, but we have a support team with specialists like TP teachers and educational technical assistants. On the other side, we are experiencing a rise in the percentage of foreign students this past few years, around 25%. And regarding the socioeconomic level of the students, they all come from different backgrounds, but most of them are middle class. So I used ChatGPT for this and I asked for 10 proposals, and out of those 10 measures, I chose 5 which seemed to be appropriate for my school. But before starting, I want to tell you that I will be putting the legislation that supports each measure here, so you can see it while I talk about them. First, the Community Diversity Council. Its intention is to create a school community that takes into account our students from different cultural, linguistic, and socioeconomic backgrounds, which is very, very important, taking into account especially this rise of foreign students lately. The actors affected would be the parents, the different families involved, the teachers, and the management team. And the relationships affected would be the school-community relationship, especially with the parents and the school relationship, the teacher-school relationship. They're all kind of connected by this measure. It creates, for the parents, a sense of belonging, and it builds confidence for specifically families who may feel marginalized, and so it can increase participation from these type of families as well. Second, Digital Respect Charter. This addresses the increasing concern about the use of screens, and it is appropriate for my school because my school is starting to implement more technology now, and this co-design of a set of guidelines on devices involves both families and educational professionals, which is ideal for a progressive and respectful digitalization of the school. Plus, it includes workshops that can be very helpful for families and school staff for introducing technology. The actors affected would be the families, the students who wouldn't be directly affected but indirectly by the guidelines created, the teachers and the management team, and their relationships affected would be the parent-school relationship, the schools, students, and teachers relationship, because it helps manage screen time and reduce tech-related stress for families, and it increases clarity for parents and teachers on how digital tools are used. Also, it encourages cooperation among staff and builds trust, once again, by giving families a voice in shaping the school technology policies. And also, the parents, teachers, management team relationships would be improved through the workshops, which can help them improve not only their data literacy, but also the relationships of the school community in general. Third, Digital Wellbeing Curriculum Integration. This measure seeks the integration of digital devices as tools that can help the students in their learning process, but not as tools that are intended to replace learning. It also fosters healthy habits as well as a responsible and critical awareness of technology and screens from an early age. The actors affected would be especially students' well-being, the teachers and the management team. Their digital competence is positively affected, and it ensures that digital integration respects the developmental needs of each student. And the relationships affected would be the student-teacher relationship, the school-teacher relationship by creating the curriculum, and the student-student relationship, since unplugged activities promote cooperation and interaction among the students. 4. Personalized learning paths. I really like this measure because it gives the students and families the opportunity to kind of choose what they want, and its intention is to create a personalized experience for each student while slowly implementing technology. The actors affected are families, but also there is pedagogical differentiation, which means that this measure supports a variety of learning needs, which affects both teacher and students. Also, assessment for teachers is affected as well. It enables more meaningful tracking of progress through individualized goals and feedback for students. And students may feel more engaged and motivated because it offers choices and it considers students' preferences. And the relationships affected would be the student-teacher relationship. It can strengthen this bond because since it respects each student's space and capacities. And also the teacher relationships with families because of the teacher-family conferences. And lastly, well-being and inclusion audit. It is very important to monitor and evaluate this process, so it is a useful measurement we can apply to see and to analyze how this diversity and digital initiatives are affecting the students and families throughout the school year. Plus, my school is small, so this continuous reflection is feasible. The actors affected would be the students, who are directly monitored by surveys and discussions, the families who are informed, and the teachers and management team who inform the families. Also, this measure helps the staff, the students, and families feel part of that dynamic and responsive school culture. And the relationships affected would be the student-teacher, the teacher management team, since they organize these meetings and this evaluation, and the teacher families, because it promotes open communication with families and the broader school community. Now, the parts of educational diversity that haven't been considered are especially students with different educational needs, such as neurodivergent kids or kids with mental or physical disabilities. I feel like the AI proposal focuses too much on technology integration, and even though one of the proposed measures mentions socioeconomic status, I don't feel it was addressed enough either. And regarding the relationships, teacher-collegial relationships are not addressed in any of the measures, and they're one of the most important relationships in school organization. The AI could have proposed measures like courses for teachers that imply professional development, collaborative lessons, and support between peers. And finally, it doesn't mention either the opportunity to get in contact with other schools in Cartagena to collaborate or to include them in activities, for example, in the Digital Down Day activity. According to what I have found in these two scientific papers, transformational seems to be the most effective type of leadership, and it is the one I like the most, although my leadership style contains elements from the transformational style and also the distributing/people-centered leadership described by Alma Harris. But anyways, this would be the 5 essential points of my program to improve communication. First, to improve the communication about the digital transformation with parents and families, at the beginning of the school year, my management team and I would organize meetings with all the legal tutors of each course to tell them everything they need to know about this technology integration. This measurement obviously strengthens the bond between the families and the school and the families and the management team. Also, in the meetings I have just mentioned, I would show them the school website, which would become a clear and accessible communication channel for families where they could see all the updates and important information we would publish, as well as contact the management team and class tutors if needed. This would also improve the relationship between families and the school, the management team, and the teachers. In the third point of my program, I would focus on how I would deliver the information to my students. For this, the class tutors of each course would organize some lessons explaining the changes they would experience, and they would organize some activities to engage the students and to make them explore these new digital elements altogether. This way, the teacher-student and the student-student relationship would be affected in a positive way, since they would all participate in this technology-introducing lessons. But before these lessons for improving the professional development and the data literacy of the teachers and the management team, I think it would be a good idea to organize collaborative workshops to introduce them to these new technologies. This would, of course, improve the teacher-collegial relationship and the relationship between teachers and the management team. Finally, I would implement regular feedback and dialogue sessions at the end of each term, in which I would inform teachers and families about any relevant information regarding the digital transformation. This would allow teachers and other staff members to participate in decision-making and to discuss whether some methods are working or not, but also parents, as they would feel their needs are being addressed. So, of course, this would be beneficial for the school-community relationship because they will all feel a sense of belonging. Now, these key points reflect the essential elements of my leadership style, which are 1. Open, transparent, and bi-directional communication by creating direct interaction and dialogue between all the members of the community, empowering other teachers or peers to lead and distributing the leadership activity, and building a school community and establishing interconnection between the home, the school, and the community in general. For Block 3, I created a scenario in which I am a teacher in a classroom of 23 students. 2 of my students are autistic, one of them is nonverbal, and I have another student that has Fragile X syndrome. Taking into account these factors, I checked out the Murcia's diversity care plan, and I have found the following measures essential for these kids. First, C1, curricular adaptation. This measure is essential because students with intellectual disabilities often need to prioritize basic competencies rather than complex contents to avoid frustration and to create personalized experiences that take into account the learning pace of each student. C6, specific support programs. These programs are for students who need curricular adaptation as well. They are very good for these children because they provide even more specialized attention inside or outside the classroom. C9, specialized open classrooms. These are essential because they offer adapted environments with specialized professionals such as specialists in therapeutic pedagogy and educational technical assistants. Plus, they work with a reduced number of students, which enables them to address the specific educational needs of each student much better than in a regular classroom. And lastly, B24. These strategies are aimed for students with special needs, but they can be very useful for students with intellectual disabilities specifically because they promote participation taking into account things like multisensory stimulation or augmentative and alternative communication, which is very important taking into account that I have a nonverbal kid. Now, I created an activity taking into account these measures. What the topic is digestive system, and what I want my students to achieve is to identify the different organs involved and their functions, and to understand the process of digestion in a practical and sensorial and visual way. To achieve this, I will be using a lot of visual and sensorial resources, especially with these 3 students. Resources like animated and explicative videos that illustrate the process of digestion, puzzles with organs with magnets or Velcro, flashcards with the drawings of the organs and the functions, or big cardboards that show the digestive system for the children to take pieces of food or made out of paper or clay to see the process. And the contents will also be simplified for them according to their intellectual capacities. In addition, for the specific support programs and the open classrooms, TP teachers and other specialists can continue working with these 3 students outside the classroom as well to make sure they understand the system and to really focus on their different individual needs. Finally, I will assess each one of those students differently, but I will have a specific rubric for the other 20 students. Now, for the last part of the exam, I'm going to be answering the reflective questions with Bimo, the school pet. First, what is the mark that you deserve and why? Well, I think I deserve a 7, maybe an 8, because I have always paid attention in class, and me and my group have always worked very well in class in general. Have I done better? Yeah, of course, maybe a little bit better, but I think I did a good job in general, although I haven't worked as much as in other subjects, such as ICT. What is the most crucial idea about school organization that you have learned in this course? I think the leadership style of a school principal is one of the most important things of school organization because it literally defines how the whole school is going to work and its values and objectives, so it is pretty important. Is there any idea about school organization that you have explored in this course and couldn't imagine before? Well, to be honest, I could have never imagined how complex a school can be in terms of organization. Like, there are so many different elements that you have to take into account, such as all the relationships and interactions between all the members of the school community, or the influence of the social cultural environment, or the constant technological changes. It's just a lot. Now, moving on to diversity. What is the most crucial idea about attention to diversity that you have learned in this course? Well, I think the most crucial idea of attention to diversity is simple. In this course, the main thing I have learned is that every student deserves to be educated, no matter how different they are, no matter their capacity, no matter their background. And we as teachers need to adapt to all of these different situations. We need to educate ourselves in this field a lot more. Now, are you more aware of the importance of attending to diversity, and explain how? Well, I'm definitely more aware now. Yes, I have studied concepts that I had not even thought about. Like all the different needs of students with disabilities, mental or physical. And I have realized that we have progressed a lot in this area, but we're still very ignorant. So I realized that we have a lot of work to do. We need to improve every day. And lastly, preparing this video, I have learned especially how to put all these ideas and theoretical concepts that we have learned throughout the course into practice with the perspective of a principal, which is interesting because when we think us as primary education students, we tend to, when we think about our future, we imagine ourselves as teachers, just teachers. We don't usually imagine ourselves as principals. So this has been interesting for that. And also for the making of this video, I had to do deep research and review all the important documents and legislation that we have seen during this course to ensure a deep understanding of the subject in general.